அருள் நிறைவான அமுதக்கடலே விரிகதிரால் யாவும் விழுங்கும் அருண கிரிபரமான்மாவே கிளருளப்பூனன்றாய் விரிபருதியாக விளங்கு சித்திரமாமிகுதெல்லாம் செம்மலையே நின்பாலே உத்திதமாய் நின்றே ஒடுங்கிடுமால் நித்தியமும் நானின்றிதயம் நடித்திடுவையாலுன் பேர் தானிதயம் என்றிடுவர்தாம் அகமுகமாரந்த அமலமதி தன்னால் அகமிதுதான் எங்கெழும் என்றாய்ந்தே அகவுருவை நன்கறிந்து முன்னீர் நதி போலும் மோயுமே உன் கண்ணருணாச்சலனே ஓர் வெளிவிடயம் விட்டு விளங்கும் அருள் நேசா வழியடக்க நிற்கும் மனத்தால் உளமதனில் உன்னை தியானித்து யோகி ஒளி காணும் உன்னில் உயர்வுருமீதும் உன்னிடத்தில் ஒப்புவித்த உள்ளத்தால் எப்பொழுதும் உன்னை கண்டு எல்லாமும் முன்னுருவாய் அந்நியமில் அன்பு செய்யும் அன்னோன் அருணாச்சலாவெல்கும் இன்புருவா முன்னிலாழ்ந்தே அருணகிரி ரமணன் ஆரியத்திற்கண்ட அருமறை அந்த கருத்தேயாகும் அருணா சல பஞ்சகமணியை தன் தமிழ் வெண்பாவால் உலகு கழித்தானு வந்து அரியாதீதரசீவர தகவாரிச குகையில் அறிவாயிரமி பரமாத்துமன் அருணாச்சலரமணன் பரிவாழ்வுளம் உருகானல பரனார்ந்திடு குகையார்ந்து அறிவாம் விழித்திரவாய் நிசமறிவாய் அது வெளியாம் அண்ணாமலையாய் அடியேனை ஆண்ட அன்றே ஆவியுடல் கொண்டாய் எனக்கோர் குறையுண்டோ குறையும் குணமும் நீ அல்லால் என்னேனிவற்றை என்னுயிரே எண்ணம் எதுவோ அது செய்வாய் கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினயிர் காதற் பெருக்கே தருவாயே கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினயிர் காதற் பெருக்கே தருவாயே அதிமதுரச்சாபஹஸ்தாம் அபரிமிதாம் மோதபான சௌபாக்யாம் அருணாம் அதிசய கருணாம் அபிநவ குலசுந்தரீம் வந்தே ஓம் ஐம் ஹ்ரீம் ஸ்ரீம் அருணாச்சலம். So this small little book, Who Am I, in the form of question and answers, it reveals all the essential teachings of Sri Bhagavan. It's very unique. I would say for a Ramana devotee, this should be like a Bible, like this is the book for the Ramana devotees who are interested in Atma Vichara. You understand? So today I was going through the whole thing. So fascinating. Somehow at the age of 21, Bhagavan has revealed everything. Whatever is required for a sadhaka, everything is revealed in this small book. Who am I? And we are very, very blessed to study, to understand, and to contemplate on it. Right? So, yesterday we were seeing how the mind will subside in the heart. That was the question. So now when you inquire, what is this mind? Mind is nothing but thoughts. And before that he says, it is a mysterious power of Atma, the self only, the truth only. It is a mystery, Adishaya Shakti, he said. Adishaya Shakti means a mysterious power. And that, see, one great thinker has said, it is an image factory. It goes on creating images, meaning a lot of thoughts. It goes on creating thoughts. So what are thoughts? Nothing but every thought in its womb has got an object. Let us say a horse. In that thought, in the womb of the thought, there is this animal, four-legged creature which can run fast. So every thought has got an object. So that is called idam vritti. And to whom this thought is rising? To a conscious entity. That is I am. This is aham vritti. So what is mind? It is nothing but flow of thoughts. If you analyze what is a thought, it has got two aspects. One is idam vritti, aham vritti. So without the aham vritti, the conscious entity I am, thoughts cannot rise. This is the basic thought. So thoughts are many, very many, and good, bad, vulgar, all those stuff. But the person who is having the thought, that is I, is only one. So instead of worrying or troubling ourselves with so many thoughts, now forget about all those thoughts. All the thoughts have got I thought as the fundamental thought, as a substratum. So you now inquire, what is this I thought? So this is Bhagavan's teaching. Thoughts are very many. If you start analyzing, understanding thoughts, there is no end to it. Vasanas are so much in our mind, within our mind. There is no end to it. So instead of getting lost in the thoughts, now try to focus on who is the thinker, who is the seer, who am I? See, one more thing I want to clarify here. It is not just a question and answer. Who am I? Then you answer yourself. No, I am not the body mind. I am Sachidananda Swarupa. No, this is not inquiry. Who am I means immediately you have to focus your attention on this idea or notion which rises in the mind. That I am. Na irukken, I am. So when you focus your attention on this idea I am, and try to find out from where this thought I am is rising. Yeah. So when you focus your attention, then what Bhagavan says, focus means not just focusing for a few seconds and leaving it. Continuously you should be able to focus. This is a big challenge. To focus on something outside is not that difficult. But to focus on the source of all thoughts, that is I thought, is real challenge. For that, you need lot of sattva, balance, and also lot of vairagya, dispassion. This is very important. Why dispassion? Because all the other thoughts are very, very appealing or very attractive. Or you get carried away. Or some thoughts are very, very horrible. You can't stand. You fight. You want to get away, get rid of those thoughts. So to focus our attention on the I thought and to remain there and to find from where this I thought is rising, this is Atma Vichara. As I told you yesterday, you may not understand, but sit and try to focus. As I told you, Bhagavan is in your heart, the Guru is in your heart, he will guide you. Instead of that, if you start intellectualizing, understanding, what is he saying, I am not getting it clearly. First, what is this I? Swami is saying there is something called as I inside. What is this I am not able to understand. Maybe it is not my cup of tea. For me, though, I suppose bhakti is easy, surrender is simple. No, bhakti is not easy, surrender is not simple. So, for anything, you need that kind of a one-pointed attention. Even for bhakti, surrender. You need that vairagya, dispassion. Aha muha maranda amala madi tannal. Amala madi means what? With that pure madi, intellect. Amala madi tannal. Aham idudan yengelum. Where from this I thought arises? Yendra ainde. Ainde means here to look within. Aha uruvai nangarindu. Then you know the real nature of your own self. Then what happens? This I thought, it vanishes as if the river vanishing in the ocean. Munnir nadibolum oyime. Munnir means ocean, where the three sorts of water come and come together in a confluence. Means the rainwater and the well water and also the river water. Everything comes together. So Munnir nadipolum oyume. Oyume means the river loses its identity in the ocean. Similarly, this personality, he loses his identity in that Brahma Tattvam or in that truth. So that is self-realization. So this is what we have seen yesterday. Munnir nadipol moyume. So this ahankara, the I, the personality, he vanishes in the ocean of Brahma Tattva. He vanishes means what? He loses his identity as an individual with a particular name and form, with particular qualities. And then what remains is that absolute truth. Shivoham, Shivoham. That truth alone remains. So this is the essential teaching of Bhagavan. Right? Now, the next question. So we have seen till 9th question, I suppose.
Yeah.
Now the 10th question. How will the mind become quiescent? How to pronounce this? What's quiescent? Quiescent, right? Okay. By the inquiry, who am I? By the inquiry, who am I? The thought, who am I, will destroy all other thoughts, and like the stick used for stirring the burning fire, it will itself in the end get destroyed. Then there will arise self-realization. I want to read it out from the Tamil. That is nothing like Bhagavan's own words, This is very beautiful. Manam eppadi adangum? Naan yaar ennum visaranayinaleye manam adangum. நான் யார் என்னும் நினைவு மற்ற நினைவுகளை எல்லாம் அழித்து பிணம் சுடு தடி போல முடிவில் தானும் அழியும் பிறகு ஸ்வரூப தரிசனம் உண்டாகும். Meaning what? When you inquire who am I, meaning what? When you are continuously focusing your attention with the idea or with the search, who am I? Then he says, all the other thoughts will be destroyed because of this vichara. At the end, even this seeking, this search, this quest of who am I also will just go off. He gives an example like Pinam Sudu Tadi Pole in Tamil. It's a beautiful thing. Yesterday, as I told you, Pinam Sudu Tadi means that stick. Tadi means stick. Pinam means the corpse. Pinam Sudu Tadi means that stick which is used to burn the corpse in the fire. As I told you yesterday, when the dead body is burnt, because of the heat, the bones elongate and the hands may come up, the legs may come up. So that a person in the smashana, he hits the body with a stick. That is called as pinam sudutadi. That stick used to burn the body. Then once everything is over, when the body is burned totally into ashes, he will not carry. He will throw the stick into the same fire. And the stick also is burnt. So this thought, who am I? This thought destroys all the other thoughts. And then at the end, that also will vanish or will perish by itself. Like the Pinam Sudutadi. So what is Pinam Sudutadi here? What is that stick which is used to burn the body? That is Aatma Vichara. So yesterday somebody was asking me, so even the Aatma Vichara is the mind's job, mind's sort of activity. Na? Yes. Who said no? Everything is mind's. See, mind alone is a cause for the bondage, and mind alone is a cause for liberation also. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, that is avidya maya and vidya maya. Maya itself is classified into two. Avidya maya binds you to the samsara. Then maya only should liberate you also. Vidya maya liberates you. Because in Brahman, there is no activity. There is no bondage also, there is no liberation also. So, the maya, the shakti, the power, that alone binds. That alone should liberate. So, the mind which is binding you alone is responsible for your liberation also. When the mind is always extrovert, bagir mugama anjana, then there is bondage. When the mind is introvert, seeking the source, then it is the cause for liberation. Definitely, it is also the mind's job only. But at the end, everything goes. Even this vicharam will end. See, in that pure bliss, you don't want to think about anything. You are completely absorbed. See, this word is very important. If you go to Ramanashramam, that is just behind, there is a gate to go to Skandashramam. So near that gate, there are samadhis of great Mahatmas, disciples of Bhagavan, Muruganar Swami and other great people. There it is written, Muruganar Swami absorbed in Arunachala, then the date is, samadhi date and all. Absorbed in Arunachala means what? Absorbed, this is a very important word. The mind gets absorbed, meaning it gets sucked into that divine and you are no more. Mind is no more as an individual entity, as a separate entity. So in that, there are no thoughts whatsoever, even about the vicharam, even about God or liberation or anything. And there is absolute bliss. You don't want to think about anything. See, Anandathil Uchatila, you don't want to think about anything. When there is total peace, you don't want to think about anything. You just want to abide there. So that is the absorption. This absorption happens when the vichara is done properly. There even the thought, who am I, or the vichara, that goes. You understand? That is what Bhagavan says, Pinam Sudu Tadi Pole. Like the stick which is used to burn the dead bodies. Okay, now the 11th question. What is the means for constantly holding on to the thought, who am I? Now you say you have to hold on to the thought, who am I? Or focus your attention on the idea of I. What is the means for constantly holding on to the thought, who am I? How to go about? People ask, how to go about this Atma Vichara? Bhagavan says. See, this is also very, very significant. When other thoughts arise, one should not pursue them, but should inquire, to whom do they arise? It does not matter how many thoughts arise. As each thought arises, one should inquire with diligence. To whom has this thought arisen? The answer that would emerge would be, to me. Thereupon, if one inquires, who am I? The mind will go back to its source, and the thought that arose will become quiescent. With repeated practice in this manner, the mind will develop the skill to stay in its source. So this is the idea. The idea is, there may be thoughts. So with the rising of each thought, you should not get lost. You should not pursue. Instead, you should ask, to whom this thought? Not the question is not why this thought. See, generally we get lost into why this thought is arising in me. Suppose let there be a thought of lust or passion, or hatred. Then we start thinking, why am I having these kind of thoughts? Very vulgar thoughts. Why am I having these kind of negative thoughts? So here Bhagavan says, you will not worry or you not inquire into why I am having these thoughts. There is no answer to it, because our vasanas are such kind of thoughts are rising. Doesn't matter even if it is a very vulgar thought, base thought, don't worry. Instead of getting lost in understanding, analyzing the thought, you inquire, to whom this thought? Then the answer will be, to me. Then once again focus attention to who am I? From where this I is arising? See, it's very simple. Again and again, whenever the thought rises, instead of getting lost in the thought, focus attention. You know why? See, this is because we first of all take this I to be real. This I, me, to be very real. My life and me, very real. This I is actually identified with the body mind. This egoistic I, this ego I, is identified with the body mind. We take it to be very real, and then whatever is projected from there, we take that also to be very real and get disturbed. Now the question is, the very I is unreal, is not true, and it is not there. Meaning not there means what? The ghost which is appearing in the post. See, when you walk in the darkness, sometimes you may see a sudden ghost. Oh, ghost! That is only a post, but you see a ghost. When you see the ghost, ghost is real, huh? But when you inquire what is this ghost, then you understand it's only just a post. Ghost was never. It is not that ghost appeared from the post and then when you inquired, ghost has vanished into the post. It is not. Ghost was never ever there. This is the understanding. Huh? See, when you really inquire, what is the clarity, what is the understanding? It is not that ghost appeared at one point of time and then when you inquired properly, it disappeared. No. The understanding is, ghost never appeared, it was only my Brahma, Bhranti, my own delusion. So similarly, when you inquire who am I, it is not that I has risen and fallen and all. It is Vyavahara, it is all true. But the understanding is, there was never ever an I. See, this is Mandukya Karika. What Mandukya says, the world has not been created. There is no reason for this world to be created. Swamiji, how can you say this, Swamiji? I am seeing the world, it's very real. This is our problem. Mahatma's problem is, where is the world? Tell me. I am not seeing anything. This is the jagada between the seeker and the guru, the teacher. So it is not that when you inquire the mind and the I disappears, means you know what? See, this point you should understand. This is Advaita Vedanta. What you should understand is, it is not that I had risen and fallen. Though it appears that way, the understanding is, never ever there was an I. I only thought there was an I. So, when the I was not there, the first person, the second, third person, no question of second, third person. So, therefore, all these thoughts have no meaning whatsoever. Because the very person who is having the thought, he has no meaning. He is false, means he is not. See, I have been telling this example again and again. I don't know where I talk what. But again I tell you, like he was telling yesterday, we have got only 10 jokes or 10 anecdotes and we repeat again and again. We don't know where we tell what. Sometimes people get very bored. But again it's worth repeating because it's very important. Those days, during this Sudandara Poratam and all those stuff, 1940s and the Madri. In one village, they used to have only one big radio. Nowadays, everywhere, everything is available. Those days, one radio, big radio in one panchayat village, that panchayat office or whatever. Those days was huge because tubes and all this, So huge video, huge radio. So every evening they switch on the radio, some news comes, some sort of a song comes, all those stuff. These villages were very awestruck. What is this? The dabba, they put a pot along. How is this news and everything is coming? One villager was very smart. He thought, I am going to see who is speaking from there, who is reading the news from there, who is singing from there. So after everybody slept, he went stealthily inside and he opened the radio and there was nobody. I was wondering, somehow this radio was singing, it was talking, giving out news. But there was nobody. Bhagavan says, this is the same truth. There is nobody. But still there are songs. So much of things are happening. But when you inquire, there is nobody. How is this? This is it. Maya Jalam. Yes, the truth is, this is the revelation. There is nobody. But still everything is happening. How? Etavanasya Mahima. His glory. Etavanasya Mahima. See, this is not cock and bull story. I know dream love. Bhagavan has said, when you inquire who am I, it is not, the understanding is I perishes means you know what? Never ever I was born. I was only imagining that there is an I, and then my life, and then my children, my property, my everything. When the very I goes means what? Understood to be not. A myth. See, the I is a myth. One Swami Chidananji, our Acharya in Chennai Mission earlier days, he used to say, it is not that I is not there. I is a myth. Myth means what it appears to be, but it is not. That is called a myth. Na? I is a myth actually. It's the biggest myth. So when you inquire, for whom this thought? To me, when you inquire who am I, you will find the very I is not. Then that is the question of all the other thoughts. Lust or passion, anger, hatred, jealousy, all those things have no meaning because the very person who is having all those emotions and thought is not. See, what a profound truth revealed. So instead of going on breaking your head with why this thought to me, how will I substitute with the positive thought? See, these are all management thing, substituting with the positive thought, and you have to, pump compassion into everybody. See, once I was going in a car along with an Amma who is very spiritual. I am very scared of spiritual people. I am very comfortable with ordinary people. When spiritual people come, I get very scared. So she was driving me. Somewhere she was taking me for a lecture or something. And then, now and then she was just looking at me. I said, what is this looking at me very funnily? Then I realized in the course of the conversation she was revealing that she is trying to pump in compassion to me. Now and then. At that time I was a very young Swami, brahmachari. Pavam, this brahmachari. So she was pumping in compassion to me, it seems. That's what I understood later. So it is not pumping in compassion. So substitute all the negative thoughts with a positive thought. It's all good. But the very thought, the very thinker is false. This is knowledge. என்னைக்கு எல்லாம் சமுத்திரம் ஓயிடு தலை முழுகிறது, ஒவ்வொரு தாட்டையா ரிப்ளேஸ் பண்ணிட்டே இருந்தா எனக்கு வேற வேலையே இல்லை, நீ தோபியா டு கோ ஆன் washing all the thoughts. No, understand, the very thinker is false. When the thinker is false, what is the question of thoughts? When the very first person is not, where is the question of second or third person? We are deluded totally. We take this first person to be very, very real. நான் என்னை சுற்றி தான் இந்த உலகமே நடக்குது, நான் தான் ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டண்ட், I am very important. Hare Rama, this I is a myth. It's a false entity. It's an imagination, figment of imagination. So this is what we have to understand. Therefore Bhagavan says, why this thought to me? Nonsense. How will I handle these thoughts? How will I minimize these thoughts? How will I substitute these thoughts with positive thoughts? Adalla nalla irukku for beginners, for for ordinary sort of discourses, it's all fine. But when you come to Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, he's not interested in all these. See, sometimes people go to Nisargadatta Maharaj, it seems. He was rolling BD, having a shop, BD shop, and start, what has happened to this world? Why everything is going down? Everything going down the drain. Like that people talk now. In the Mandir nalla irunchella. Now why youngsters are like this? Then Nisa used to stop, it seems. No. You won't get all these things in this dukan, in this shop. Next shop. Go to the next shop. You won't get all these things in this shop. Go to the next shop. So when you start, love, compassion, positive thoughts. No, in this dukan you don't get. Go to the next dukan, that dukan. When you come to Bhagavan, this is garbage. It has to be wiped out clean. Nothing very good thought, bad thought, good terrorist, bad terrorist. No such thing. Terrorist means he is violent, he will kill everybody. Thought means it's bondage, good or bad. The whatever is sattva or rajas tamas, everything is bondage only. You understand? Therefore here, the source is inquired into. When you realize that the very person who is suffering is not, then why is the question of suffering? We take this person who is suffering to be very real and we very much sympathize with this person. Stop sympathizing with this person who is a false entity, who is a myth. Suya pachadavam Tamil சொல்லுவாங்க. Self pity. Why God is so cruel to me? What did I do wrong? Hare Rama, you are not. You go and hang yourself. Meaning, you are not. Full stop. Then where is the question of my bondage, my liberation, and me going to heaven, hell, suffering, enjoying, improving? Swamiji, nowadays I am doing a lot of sadhana, I think I am improving within. Who is improving? The fellow who is never born is improving. See, when you come to Bhagavan, it's a different story. It's a different ball game altogether. இந்த மாதிரி சாதாரண அந்த கடவுள் இருக்கார், ஒரு கும்பிடுங்க, காப்பாற்றுவார், நல்லதே செய்வார், இதெல்லாம் இங்கே கிடையாது. கடவுள்லாம் இங்கே கிடையாது. சும்மா அவர் கும்பிடுங்க, நல்லது செய்வார், கெட்டது செய்வார்லாம் கிடையாது. You inquire into all the thoughts, the source of the thought, and you die your death. That's it, finished. And everything is fine. When you go, everything is fine. You are the problem. When you go, everything is auspicious. So here, see. Thereupon, if inquires who am I, the mind will go back to its source and the thoughts that those arose will become quiescent. So when you inquire who am I, and the very I is gone, then where is the question of the thoughts? Meaning, only for the I the thoughts can arise. That is gone. With repeated practice in this manner, the mind will develop the skill to stay in its source. So thus when you go on inquiring, then what happens? The mind will develop some sort of a strength to stay within continuously. Now not even a moment it stays. It is always bahirmukha. Though we sit for meditation, even half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour if you sit, only for few seconds mind is quiet. Otherwise it is going on, blah, 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 something like that. But when you practice this continuously, sincerely, it develops a knack to stay within. The mind will develop the skill to stay in its source. When the mind that is subtle goes out through the brain and the sense organs, the gross name and forms appear. See? When the mind that is subtle goes out through the brain and the sense organs, the gross names and forms appear. When it stays in the heart, the names and forms disappear. See? When the mind goes through the brain and the sense organs, the names and forms appear. The world appears. In the deep sleep, the mind is detached from the sense organs and everything at it subsides. Therefore, no world of names and forms in the deep sleep. In the waking and dream, the mind comes out through the organs, through the brain and the sense organs. Then there is world. So it is not the world is there, I am seeing it. I am seeing it, therefore there is world. You know what? In traditional Vedanta Shastra, there is Drishti Srishti Vada and Srishti Drishti Vada. The traditional thought is Srishti Drishti Vada. There is Srishti, that is creation. Drishti, you are seeing it. No, that is not right. When you go advanced seeker, for him, Drishti Srishti Vadam. You see, therefore there is world. Enna Swamiji, you see, therefore there is world. Yes. It is not that there is world you see. You see, therefore there is world. If I don't see, there is no world. Yes. Enna Swamiji, kanna mudida ipo evallam irundu poiduma. Ama, kanna mudida anthom. If you are not there, there is no world. See, this is a very deep thing, deep thought. You understand? So, when the mind goes out through the brain and the sense. See, one day, I think to Swami Chidanandaji only, one seeker, he asked this question. Swamiji, you people talk so much about mind, mind, mind. We want to know what is the connection or the association between the mind and the brain. Because the scientists and the people who are, in this world, they talk more about brain. And the alpha, beta, ennanamo they say, na, all those things. But you people talk only about the mind. You don't talk about the brain. So what is the sort of sambandha? He put it in a very beautiful way that everybody will understand. He said, see, the brain and all is the hardware and the mind is the software, he said. With one analogy, he has explained it beautifully. Without the software, hardware has got no meaning. Right? But when you have a software but we don't have a hardware, the software cannot express, cannot sort of be used to you. Is it not so? So brain is required for the mind to function. But without the mind, brain cannot function. That's what he said. Beautifully he said. So some say, only when the mind functions through the brain and the sense organ, you see a world of names and forms other than you. See, this other than you, I am always underlining because it's very important. Other than you and separate from you. But when the mind subsides in the heart, there are no world of names and forms. Meaning everything is Shivam. There is nothing other than you. When it stays in the heart, the names and forms disappear. Not letting the mind go out, but retaining it in the heart is what is called inwardness. Ahamuham, antarmuham. Ahamuhappadu, Andarmukham means what? Not allowing the mind to go out. Swamiji, then how can we live in this world, Swamiji? Always sitting in the heart. There are no worlds of names and forms. Then how would we live in this world, Swamiji? We have a family to take care. We have got a business to do. எப்போ பார் சும்மா உட்காந்தே இருந்தால் இதயத்திலே உட்காந்துருந்தா எப்படி யார் பூவா சாப்பாடு யார் கொடுப்பா? Who will feed me? You know what? Prahalada says to his students, co-students, you remember the Lord and then you will find Lord feeding you. Don't worry. சும்மா இந்த ஒரு ஜான் வயிற்றுக்காகவே வாழ்க்கையை தொலைச்சிடணும். Means always, வயிற்று பொழப்பு. Winning bread and butter. No. You yogakshemam vahami You ananyashintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahami You be devoted to me. One pointedly you concentrate on me. I will take care of your yoga and kshema. So don't have all those illusions. When I sit like this, who will take care of the family? Who will take care of the world? Who will... don't worry. The Lord will take care. எப்படி லார்ட் வந்து டேக் கேர் பண்ணுவாரா? வந்து சமைச்சு கொடுப்பாரா? மோர் கடி கிண்டி கொடுப்பாரா? எனக்கு கடவுள் வந்து அப்படின்னா கிண்டி கொடுப்பார். கரெக்டா ஏன் கொடுக்க மாட்டார்? அவர் தான் வந்து கிண்டி கொடுக்குறார். இப்பயும் அப்புறமும் அவர் தான் வந்து கிண்டி கொடுப்பார். சந்தேகமே வேண்டாம் உங்களுக்கு. People are wondering, what about more kali as they பேசுறாரு? காலையில சாப்பிட்ட ஒரு வேகத்துல பேசுறேன். You understand? Lord will definitely come and feed you. See, Bhagwan, when he was in Arunachala, when he was a very young fellow, 19-year-old, as a boy, he used to sit in front of that Arunachala temple and lost in himself. Not even knowing that he should eat, all those stuff. One lady who was a dancer, it seems, those days, Devadasi, they say, like that, a dancer, that Amma, old Amma, she was moved by this boy, it seems, always lost in himself. So every day she used to come and feed him, like, you know what, she used to open his mouth and she used to place a morsel of food in his mouth and go away. The next day when she comes and opens the mouth, she would find the same food remaining there. This lad of 20 or 19-year-old, he was not even having that smaranai to even swallow that food or eat that food. He was lost. That was his abundance. அவங்கன்னா சாப்பாடை பார்த்தா எச்சு ஊறுது. அவருக்கு சாப்பாடு உள்ள வச்ச பிறகும் அதை முழுங்கணும்னோ சாப்பிடணும்னே தெரியாமல் உட்காந்துருந்தார். Such was his abundance. How to compare Bhagwan with anybody? And then she used to take out that food and put another morsel of it. அப்படிப்பட்டவரால் கடவுளை உணர முடியும். ஏதோ மோர் கழியும் அதுவும் இதுவும் சாப்பிட்டு நல்லா பிஸ்ஸா அதெல்லாம் சாப்பிட்டா எப்படி கடவுளை உணர்றது? சரி, அப்படின்னா என்ன சொல்ல வரேன்னா, that is the abundance Bhagwan had. So you remind there. See, you imagine, have you gone to Virupaksha cave? It's just a cave. And very hot place, Tiruvannamalai. April, May, June, you are burnt. Literally you are burnt. So inside nothing. There can be snakes, there can be anything. This boy was not having anything. He was not even knowing where the next food would come from. He was just there. But somehow Arunachala took care of him or not. How many years he lived there? One Echamma party, she used to come from Tiruvannamalai town and she used to feed him, it seems, every day. அவ்வளோ புண்ணியவதி அவ. பகவான் அவ்வளோ ஃபீட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க அந்த மாதிரி பார்ட்டிமார்கள். He was not seeking. He was just lost. The Lord comes through all those forms and the Lord was feeding. See, I tell you, you will not understand. Lord is ocean of compassion. He will not let his children down. We don't believe in him. That is the problem. You think of him and you sit, he will come and feed you. If he is not feeding you, it means he doesn't want you to live in this world. Because You have to go somewhere else for something else. So have trust in him and he will feed you. So what I mean to say is, we give a lot of excuses. If I sit like that always in the heart, what will happen to the world? Oh, is it not that I have to perform my duties? Blah, 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 blah. You are not a seeker at all. Why? You have to perform, but in the guise of duty, we always want to escape from this Atma Vichara. It's serious stuff. The mind, it plays all the tricks. I am a, very, very responsible grihastha. To think as a grihastha itself is ajnana. And responsible grihastha. As long as you are a responsible person, you can never realize the truth. You should become totally irresponsible. Why? God will take care of every responsibility. Bhagavad Gita says you have to perform your duty, and you say you become irresponsible. What I mean to say is, don't carry the world on your head. The Lord will carry you and yourself and everybody else also. So, nee vanda velai kavanin Bhagavan solrar. So therefore, we have to be dedicated only to this Atma Vichara. Why? That is the only goal of life. And that is the truth. See, some person asked me, Swamiji, why you are talking about this? I always Atma Vichara, Atma Jnana. Why? Because that is the truth. That is the Satyam. Edu Satyamo, adana nadanu. Matella Asatyam. So this is the truth. Not that it is Anandam, not that you become a great Mahatma. No. This is Satyam. This is the truth. Therefore you should seek it. This truth is that one which can liberate you. Liberate means what? Make you free. In fact, what do we all need in this world is freedom. We do not know what is freedom. Freedom from our own minds, from our own likes and dislikes, from our own vasanadi dosha. That is real freedom. So therefore, to stay in one's heart is antarmukham or ahamukham. And to what he says, letting the mind go out of the heart is known as externalization or bahirmukha. Thus, when the mind stays in the heart, the I, the capital I, which is the source of all thoughts, will go. No. The capital I also is egoistic I only. Source of all thoughts will go. And the self, here the self is the real I, which ever exists, will shine. Whatever one does, one should do without the egoity I. If one acts in that way, all will appear as the form of the nature of Shiva. So what he says, when you remain there, then all the thoughts and the thinker also goes. And what remains is the truth. He is a true self that shines. So he says, without ahankara, I, you live in this world. You perform your duties. You do your. Then you see everything as lordship. Means what? Everything is auspicious. As one. This last line I want to read from Tamil because it's really beautiful. Only the last line I'm going to read. He says, அகமுகம் அல்லது அந்தர்முகம், அதாவது மனதை வெளிவிடாமல் ஹிருதயத்தில் வைத்துக் கொண்டிருப்பதற்குத்தான் அகமுகம் அல்லது அந்தர்முகம் என்று பெயர். ஹிருதயத்தில் இருந்து வெளியிடுவதற்குத்தான் பகிர்முகம் என்று பெயர். இவ்விதமாக மனம் ஹிருதயத்தில் தங்கவே எல்லா நினைவுகளும் மூலமான நான் என்பது போய் எப்பொழுதும் உள்ள தான் மாத்திரமே விளங்கும். இதெல்லாம் எங்கேயாவது இங்கிலீஷில் சொல்ல முடியுமா? See? நான் என்பது போய் எப்பொழுதும் உள்ள தான் மாத்திரமே விளங்கும். எதை செய்தாலும் நான் என்கின்ற அகங்காரமற்று செய்ய வேண்டும். அப்படி செய்தால் எல்லாம் சிவஸ்வரூபமாய் தோன்றும். So whatever you do with an idea of I am not the doer, without a sense of agency. Then everything is auspicious. Even if you kill somebody, it is auspicious. When there is no ego. But even if you help somebody with ego, it is inauspicious only. That is what he says. So, remaining in the heart is everything. Heart means what? That he is going to explain. He will explain. That is the source of everything, is called as heart. Hridayam. Hridayam. This is the center of everything. Hridayam. Ayam means this. Hrid means the center, the core. So the core of the personality is Atma, the self. So there you remain as the self. Dehabhimanam parihritya durat Atmanamaatmanyavalokayantah Aharnisham brahmaniye ramantaha Aharnisham brahmaniye ramantaha Kaupinavantak kalubhagyavantaha. Indeed, who is fortunate? Kaupinavantaha kalubhagyavantaha. You know, Kaupina means a lion's cloth, they say, no? One who is not having any other possession except the Kaupinavanta. He is really fortunate. Kalubhagyavanta. Why? Dehabhimanam parihritya durat. He has given up all the identification of the body. Therefore, he has no needs, bodily needs, emotional needs. Atmanamaatmanyavalokayantah. He has known his Atma and he is abiding always in the Atma. He is seeing Atma only in the self, not in the not self. And aharnisham brahmaniye ramantaha. Day and night, anavaradam, he is always reveling in Brahman. Kaupinavanta kalubhagyavantaha. He is indeed very fortunate, who is abiding in his own self. So this is Bhagavan's central teaching. So how we started? Who am I? I am not the saptadhadus, the 7 elements with which the body is made, the flesh, blood, bone, marrow. I am not that. I am not the sense organs. I am not the organs of action. I am not the prana. I am not even the mind which thinks or which imagines. Then who am I? I am Shuddha Arive. அப்படி சொல்றார். இங்க அவேர்னஸ் சொன்னார் இல்லையா? இங்க தமிழ்ல தான் ரொம்ப அழகா சொல்றார். Shuddha Arivuங்கிறார். The pure knowledge am I, that is awareness. What is the nature of awareness? Satchidananda Swarupam, pure existence, pure knowledge and pure bliss. How to realize this awareness? Only when you don't see the world of names and forms, then you realize. Hare Rama, while seeing the names and forms, can't we realize the self also? No. Because the world of names and forms is created by the ego and full of, Bheda Bhavana. And the knowledge of self is Abheda. There is nothing other than it. It is very contradictory. Therefore, when there is mind, you cannot know the Atma, the self. The mind has to subside. How can the mind subside? Can it subside? If you inquire into the true nature of the mind will subside. So what is the true nature of the mind? Mind is nothing but thoughts. It is Adishaya Shakti. It is the mysterious power of the Lord who is seated in the heart, the Atma, the self. And the mind is full of thoughts. Thoughts means what? All the thoughts rises only with I thought. So therefore mind is nothing but I thought. When you inquire into the source of the I thought, from where this I thought is rising, the I thought subsides in the heart. When the I thought subsides, when there is no first person, there is no second person, no third person. And whenever thought rises, don't get lost into the thought. Thoughts are many, but I thought is one. It is easy to focus on the one instead of getting lost into the many. So don't worry about the thoughts. Don't analyze and try to understand the world or the thought. Focus your attention only on the self. Inquire, who am I? From where this I thought is rising? Like that, when you stay in the heart, the source of all thoughts, then you are one with the Lord. Then there is Ananda. That is called as Ahamugam. When you go out, it is called as Bhagirmugam. See, Bhagavan defines what is Sukha and what is Dukkha. He says, when the mind stays in the heart, it is Sukham. When the mind, when it starts going out, that is Dukkham, he says. So according to Bhagavan, even the mind starts out from the heart to praise to some god, it is dukkam. Meaning what? It has to stay in the heart. Always. That is sukham. So this, when you practice again and again self-inquiry, you develop some sort of strength and a skill to stay in the heart. So to staying in the heart, abiding in the heart, is the goal of all sadhana. So within 12 question and answers, almost no, 11 question and answers, he has almost finished. இனிமே வரதெல்லாம் அதுக்கப்புறம் like frills, they say, na? Like that. So this is Atma Vicharam. Now, see, this is also a very important question. 12th question. All the seekers ask, Swamiji, it's very hard. Self-inquiry is very hard. And Bhagavan is a very tough taskmaster. என்ன எழுந்தாலே உடனே யாருக்கு இந்த எண்ணம் கேட்டு உடனே மூலத்தில் உட்காரணும். இதெல்லாம் நடக்கிற காரியமா சுவாமிஜி? பாவம், பகவான் doesn't know about us. Thousands and thousands of thought rises. ஒவ்வொரு முறையும் நான் யார், நான் எங்கே நான் பைத்தியம் பிடிச்சி போயிடுவேன். அப்படி இல்லை அது. See, initially only it is very difficult. But when you know what it is so simple and straightforward. In fact, that is the effortless thing actually. Anyway, so somehow we feel it is not our cup of tea. So, is there any other method, sadhana? Or is there any other sadhana which will aid this self-inquiry, which will help? So that's what Bhagavan is answering now. Imagine, when he was only 21, he gave out all these things. And as I told you, till the end, he was just maintaining or holding on to this only. Or preaching the same, or giving out the same upadesha only. Nothing more, nothing less. See, why I am repeating this? Because you should understand, it has come out from the heart of the realized master. Therefore, it is not changing. It is absolute or final. That's why it's not changing. If it is from the brain or it is from the mind, it would be changing, because mind is changing. It is limited. When it is from the limited, it will be always limited only. The knowledge will be limited only. When it is from the unlimited, then it is really unlimited in the sense what? It never rises or falls. It is the same. So here, are there no other means for making the mind quiescent? வேற மார்க்கம் ஒன்றும் இல்லையா? வேற சாதனை பண்ற வேற வழி இல்லையா? Other than inquiry, there are no adequate means. See, according to Bhagavan, other than inquiry, there are no adequate means. If through other means it is sought to control the mind, if it is sought to control the mind will appear to be controlled, but will again go forth. I am not very satisfied with the English one. 1 minute. So this 12th one, first line matram. Please bear with me. மனம் அடங்குவதற்கு வேறு உபாயங்கள் இல்லையா? விசாரணையை தவிர வேறு தகுந்த உபாயங்கள் இல்லை. மற்ற உபாயங்களால் அடக்கினால் மனம் அடங்கினார் போல் இருந்து மறுபடியும் கிளம்பிவிடும். இந்த கிளம்பிவிடுங்கிற வார்த்தைக்கெல்லாம் கோ ஃபோர்த்லாம் சொன்னா அது அவ்வளோ விசேஷமா இல்லை. Other than inquiry, there are no adequate means. If through other means it is sought to control the mind will appear to be controlled, but will again go forth. அது மீண்டும் கிளம்பிவிடும். So therefore he says, according to Bhagavan, this is the path. Other paths, if you try, but again the mind may crop up, go out. So this is the path. And then he says, and then he gives some other aids or the factors which can help in the self-inquiry. Then he says, through the control of breath also, the mind will become quiescent. But it will be quiescent only so long as the breath remains controlled. When the breath resumes, the mind also will again start moving. You understand? Pranayama is a very good, effective method to control the mind. But when the effect of pranayama is over, mind again starts. Like if you apply the brake in your vehicle, the vehicle stops. Once you take your leg from that brake, once again the car or the vehicle moves. So it's like applying the brake, pranayama. Yes, the mind will be controlled, but that is not foolproof, or it is not the end. Once when the effect of pranayama goes, the mind also will start. Why? He is going to give the reason now. And will wander as impelled by residual impressions, that is vasanas. The source is the same for both mind and breath. See, he is giving the logic behind why pranayama is not the effective method or the end thing. Is only the means. He is going to explain. The source is the same for both mind and breath. Thought indeed is the nature of the mind. The thought I is the first thought of the mind, and that is egoity. It is from that whence egoity originates that breath also originates. Therefore, when the mind becomes quiescent, the breath is controlled, and when the breath is controlled, the mind becomes quiescent. என்ன சொல்றேன்னா, Shakayor Dvayi means these are like two branches, and the moolam, the root or this thing is one only, the mind and the breath. See, mind means knowledge, perception, prana. Breath means activity, functioning, activity. Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. For both Shakti, the Adharam is the same. So, from where the mind rises, from there the breath also rises. When one is controlled, the other is controlled. When you control the mind, breath is controlled. When you control the breath, mind is controlled. But mind is subtle, breath is gross. It is easier to control the gross than the subtle. So, when you control the breath, which is gross, the mind, the subtle also is controlled. But here, it is not enough, because when the control of breath is little relaxed, the mind will also start moving. So, therefore, you may get some peace, some quietude of mind when you do pranayama, but you cannot annihilate the mind through pranayama. Only through inquiry you can kill the mind, or the mind is destroyed once and for all. You understand? Pranayama is helpful, because when the mind is so turbulent, so confused, so agitated, you cannot even sit and inquire. There won't be a right frame or right environment for you to even meditate or inquire. So there you can, yes, practice pranayama, so the mind is quieted for some time. Means when you control the breath, the mind is controlled. அப்புறம் விடுக்கவே ஓர் வழி உந்தி பர வியும் அதன்னொரு உந்தி பர. Meaning you have to employ that mind in one path, meditation or vichara. Then only the mind will be destroyed. If you don't, again the mind will rise. So pranayama is helpful. It is an aid for self-inquiry, but it is not the end of all. Because once you relax, then the mind also will wander with its inherent vasanas. So all the vasanas should be eliminated through proper inquiry and meditation, and then the mind is destroyed. Understand? So what he says, therefore, when the mind becomes quiescent, the breath is controlled, and when the breath is controlled, the mind becomes quiescent. But in deep sleep, although the mind becomes quiescent, the breath does not stop. See, in deep sleep, when the mind is not there, then you can ask, then how come you see the breath? He says, that is Ishvara Sankalpa. That's what he says. You know what he says? It's a very important thing. He says, but in deep sleep, although the mind becomes quiescent, the breath does not stop. This is because of the will of God, so that the body may be preserved, and other people may not be under the impression that it is dead. Suppose, let us say, when you go to deep sleep, the mind is not there, the breath also stops, then people think you are dead and they will even bury you. See, in deep samadhi also, the breath is not seen actually. So the ordinary people may not know whether the person is alive or dead. See, things have happened like that. And that's why we have to always seek the guidance of a great Mahatma, with respect to a seeker. Because in deep samadhi also breath is not seen. So, when you meditate, mind may create such things. If I go into samadhi, if my breath also stops, if people misunderstand and might bury me, what will happen to me? Then you cannot meditate, Such things mind may create. But what he says is, in deep sleep, the Lord has taken care, so that people don't misunderstand that you are dead and gone. Other than that, whenever the mind is, the breath also is. Whenever the mind is not, breath is not. These two things have got great association. You understand? So here, this is because of the will of God, so that the body may be preserved and other people may not be under the impression that it is dead. In the state of waking and in samadhi, when the mind becomes quiescent, the breath is controlled. Breath is the gross form of mind. Till the time of death, the mind keeps breath in the body, and when the body dies, the mind takes the breath along with it. Therefore, the exercise of breath control is only an aid for rendering the mind quiescent. Mano nigraha, it will not destroy the mind. Mano nasa. Very clear. So pranayama is very helpful to control the mind, but it will not destroy the mind. So for the destruction of the mind, this vichara is required. Atma Vichara is required. Swamiji, this Atma Vichara is so much emphasized by Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. Before that and all, would you say that nobody was realized? If he says only Atma Vichara is the path, then do you mean to say that the great masters like Adi Shankara and others who lived before him, were they not realized? See, though Bhagavan gave out this Atma Vichara and emphatically he was, again and again he was insisting on it, but still the idea was there even before. Don't think it is all new. In Bhajagovindam, Adi Shankara asks, Kastvam koham kuta ayataha, kame janani kome tataha, iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram, vishwam tyaktva swapna vichara. Kastvam, who are you? Koham, who am I? Kuta ayataha, from where I have come. Where I have come. So the idea is always there. But it is not revealed to everybody. Only to the very matured seekers, this idea was revealed. But through traditional Advaita Vedanta, the Panchakosha Viveka, this Avastatraya Viveka and all, definitely this truth is realized. But here Bhagavan is saying, the Atma Vicharam is a very effective method. Why I am saying this? Because some Bhagavan devotees, they go on to say, to that extent, after Bhagavan only, after Vicharam only, people realized. All nonsense. It's all nonsense. Some people go crazy mad, You can appreciate, you can admire, you can have great love for your Guru. For that, you should not become a fanatic saying that without my Guru, nobody can realize means what? You understand? You should understand properly. He is emphasizing this is the effective method. But in Ulladhanarpati he has clarified. Even other paths, they can help. He has clarified. Okay. So here, like the practice of breath control, meditation on the forms of God, repetition of mantras, restriction on food, etc., are but aids for rendering the mind quiescent. Like pranayama, mantra japa. Murti dhyana means what? Meditating on the form of the Lord. Those things are also aid. See, somebody is initiated some mantra. Mantra japa. He says that is also like pranayama and aid. And murti dhyana means meditating on the form of the Lord. That also helps. And then he goes on to say, through meditation on the form of God and through repetition of mantras, the mind becomes one-pointed. Chitta ekagrata. The mind will always be wandering. Just as when a chain is given to an elephant to hold in its trunk, it will go along grasping the chain and nothing else. So also when the mind is occupied with the name or form, it will grasp that alone. See what happens when mind is wandering continuously, you give something for it to hold on. Like for a monkey, you give a stick. So you are restricting its movements, right? Similarly, when the mind is totally wandering, you give something for it to hold on, so that it's not wandering. So like that, giving a mantra or the murti, the form of the Lord, that helps the mind to concentrate, become one-pointed. But that will not destroy the mind, he says. So Atma Vichara is essential, very essential, that's what he's trying to say. And then he says, when the mind expands in the form of countless thoughts, each thought becomes weak. But as thoughts get resolved, the mind becomes one-pointed and strong. For such a mind, self-inquiry will become easy. So you know what he is trying to say? Whenever the mind is multi-pointed or scattered in different directions, it becomes very weak. So with that weak mind, you cannot even sit and focus attention on yourself. So when you practice this mantra japa or murti dhyana, the mind gains strength. Why? When it becomes chitta ekagrata, it gains strength. Our physics teacher who used to teach us, he explained this concept very beautifully. He was also a Vedanti. See, an iron rod, a piece of iron, how it becomes a magnet? It's a piece of iron only. When you rub with another magnet in one direction, that iron piece becomes a magnet. How? In the iron piece, the molecules are oriented in different direction, so that the magnetic field is cancelled when it is oriented in different direction, the molecules. When you take a magnet and rub it in one direction, what happens? All the things are oriented. All the magnetic fields are oriented in one direction, so that it gains the magnetic power. Similarly, the mind, where the thoughts are scattered in all directions, it becomes weak. When all the mind is focused, it gains tremendous strength. The mind which is focused is very powerful. Why Swami Vivekananda became so powerful? Not hitting the gym, not that. It was through dhyana. When you focus your attention, when you concentrate the mind, you become a great hero. Why? Your mind is everything. Mind gains tremendous strength. When you go on, losing all your strength by dissipating it, by thinking about everything, chumma random, then what happens? You become very weak. You cannot focus attention. For Vivekananda, when he goes through a page, everything is registered. How? His mind was so powerful. For us, 10 முறை படிச்சாலும் திருப்பி இன்னும் புரியலையே. Why? The mind is so weak. Not focused. So, when you do this mantra japa or murti, Bhagavan himself is saying, some people are there, they are modern thinkers. They say japa and all is waste of time, they say. They say it's all useless. Or repetition, mechanically repeating something is not the way out. Some people are there to say, all big thinkers. But here Bhagavan says it's all very helpful to concentrate the mind, to become single point. But Bhagavan's contention is, after that, when the mind is quiet, either through pranayama, or through mantra japa, or through murti dhyana, when the mind is quiet, it has to be employed in Atma Vichara. That is Bhagavan's standpoint. You have to inquire these thoughts from where it is arising. மூலத்துக்கு போகிறது தான் எப்பயுமே பெரிய விஷயம். மேம்போக்கு அப்படி சும்மா இருக்கிறது பெரிய விஷயம். மூலத்துக்கு போகிறது தான் எப்பயும் பெரிய விஷயம். இப்போ எண்ணங்கள் இருக்கே, நீ தொந்தரவு பண்ணுதே, படுத்து எடுக்குது. எண்ணங்கள் எங்கிருந்துடா முளைக்குது? நான் எண்ணத்துலேருந்து தான் முளைக்குது. அந்த நான் எங்கேருந்துடா முளைக்குது? இப்படி எங்கடா முளைக்குது மூலத்துக்கே போயிட்டோம்னா எல்லாம் முளைக்காம போயிடும். அதுதான் ஆத்ம விசாரம். See, whether you are an Indian or an American, whether Hindu or Christian, whether you are black, brown, dark, whatever you are, everybody has got thoughts or not. Whether you are a Vaishnava, Saivite, a Shakta, whether you are Protestant, Catholic, whether you pray to any Allah or you're atheist, you are a criminal or a saint or anybody you may be, whether you believe in God or not God, believe in scriptures or not scriptures, everybody has got thoughts or not. These thoughts are only troubling you now. Drishya Padartham only is influenced with Drik, the seer. Because the Drik has got the seed of the disturbance called Vasanas. That is the thing, that is the story. But whatever it may be, everybody has got thoughts. Now, you want to get rid of thoughts? That is only one way. You find out the source of all thoughts. This Bhagavan is discovered. It was there in our scriptures. Bhagavan revealed it again and again, emphatically. So these are disturbing me. ஒரு வழி பார்க்க போறேன். என்னடா எப்போ நீ டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணிட்டே இருப்பேன், நான் ஒரு வழி பார்க்க போறேன். எங்கிருந்துடா நீ தோன்ற, நீ எங்கிருந்து முளைக்கிறாய் நீ? ஆனால் நான் இல்லாமல் எந்த தாட்டும் கிடையாதுடா. நான் தான் படுத்துதா எல்லாரையும். நீ எங்கிருந்து முளைக்கிற, நான் எங்கிருந்து முளைக்கிறேன். முளைக்கிற இடத்துலயே போய் முளையிலேயே கிள்ளி எறிஞ்சிட்டேன் நான். அப்புறம் சம்சாரம் கிடையாது. சம்சாரத்தை வளர விட்ட பிறகு கிள்ளியே எறிய முடியாது. தமிழ்லேயே பேசிட்டு வரேன், நான் இங்கிலீஷில் பேசுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. See, when you allow the samsara to sprout and become branch and become everything, then you cannot help, you cannot do anything with it. When it is about to sprout, in the bud, you have to pluck it. ஸோ எங்கிருந்து இதயத்திலேருந்து கிளம்பும் போதே அதை நசிப்பிச்சிடணுங்கிறார் பகவான். மூளையத்திலே நசிப்பிச்சிடணுங்கிறார். நசிப்பிக்கிற வாக்கு யூஸ் பண்றார் பகவான். About to, the samsara is about to start. There you have to destroy the samsara there by inquiring who am I. நான் எழுந்தாதானே தலை வச்சு ஆட போறேன், நான் எழுந்தாதானே தொல்லை கொடுக்க போறேன், நான் எழுந்தாதானே கவலைப்பட போறேன். என் வாழ்க்கை என்ன ஆகுமோ, என் மனைவி மக்கள் என்ன ஆகுமோ, உலகம் என்ன ஆகுமோ, எப்படி இந்த உலகம் நடக்குமோ, இவ்வளோ போரா இருக்கே, சூழலா இருக்கே. இந்த நான் எழுந்தாதானே இவ்வளோ கவலையும். நானே எழாம பண்ணு. This is Bhagavan for you. See, nobody can question this or deny this. You can deny God. You can deny all scriptures. You can deny all sort of schools of thoughts. Or Vishishta, Advaita, Dvaita, Advaita, anything you can reject, you can deny. Can you deny this? Thoughts are troubling us. We are troubled by thoughts. Instead of saying thoughts are troubling us, shall we say we are troubled? Who is troubled? Inquire, find out who is troubled. Beta, there is nobody to be troubled. Don't trouble yourself unnecessarily. Find out the root of the person who is troubled. That person is never ever born. Then there is no trouble. Remain there as the unborn mind. That is the self. Unborn mind is called the self. Gurudev says unborn mind is self. So ever remain as an unborn, ajaha, unborn mind. That is the self. There everything is resolved. Jati niti kula gotra durakam nama rupa guna dosha varjitam. See, Vivek Chudamani says, Jati niti kula gotra durakam. There is no jati, niti, kula, gotra there. All these differences are only in the mind. When the mind rises, everything rises. Nama rupa guna dosha varjitam. There is no name, no form, no quality, guna kuri there. There is nothing there. Remain there. Then you are free. When you allow the mind to sprout and to come out, there you gone. Everything gone. சுவாமிஜி இப்படி சொல்கிறீங்க, ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாக இருக்குமே சுவாமி. மனசையே இழவிடாமல் நசிப்பிச்சுட்டே இருந்தான். நேற்று ஐக்கியா போயிருந்தோம், எவ்வளோ விதவிதமாக அழகழகாக இருக்குது விஷயங்கள்லாம். எஸ்டே வி ஆர் கான் டு ஐக்கியா. ஸோ பியூட்டிஃபுல் சுவாமிஜி. என்ன மனசை எழவே விடக்கூடாதுங்கிறீங்க. உலகம் எவ்வளோ அழகாக இருக்குது, இதை ரசிக்க வேண்டாமா? இப்போ பாரு நசிப்பிச்சிடுன்னு சொன்னால் என்ன நெகட்டிவ் ஃபிலாசபி யுவர் ஃபிலாசபி. த வேர்ல்ட் இஸ் ஸோ பியூட்டிஃபுல். இட் இஸ் தேர் ஒன்லி டு என்ஜாய் சுவாமிஜி. Yes, enjoy and also be ready to suffer. Don't complain when you suffer. See, when you are ready to accept all the suffering, you can enjoy any amount. But we don't want suffering. Both are the same, two sides of the same coin. Inbame, tunbame, turenil. If you say, I don't want inbam or tunbam, then you are a jnani. When you say, I accept inbam and tunbam both as prasada of the Lord, then you are a bhakta. Then also you are sort of redeemed. Now we say, I want only inbam, the sukham, no dukkham. Then you are a samsari. You understand what I am saying? When you say, I don't want dukkha, I don't want sukha, I reject both, you are a jnani. Sukha and dukkha, both are prasada from the Lord. Both I accept equally. Then you are a bhakta. There also you are redeemed. But I want only sukha. Or straw pot, di urinjiru. Sukha matra vandaru. Dukkha makkile uttanu. Never it will happen. You are a samsari. Samsari wants only sukha and doesn't want dukkha. It will never happen. Either accept both or reject both. If you have the heroism, daring, reject both and stand alone, edum onrara nil. If you can stand like that, you are a jnani. Or, if you are a devotee, if you are very humble, accept everything as prasada. Come to terms with your own self, with your life, with your own self. Be at peace. Accept everything. Then also you are free. But if you reject, try to reject dukkha and only want more and more sukha, then you are ignorant. It will never happen. Because there is nothing called a sukha or dukkha separately. இன்பத்திலேயே இருக்கிறது துன்பத்தின் வித்து. இன்பத்திலேயே இருக்கிறது துன்பத்தின் வித்து. The seed of sorrow is in enjoyment. See, the seed of sorrow is in enjoyment only. More enjoyment I want. I don't want this to go away. This is vitt of sorrow. So therefore, you cannot avoid sorrow. And you cannot just have only straw pot அப்படியே உறிஞ்சிட முடியாது சுகத்தை மாத்திரம் முடியவே முடியாது. Either reject both or accept both. So therefore, through Murti Dhyana and through Japa, you gain the strength, power of the mind. For Atma Vichara, you need great inner strength. So with that you can do this Atma Vichara and you can destroy the mind. Mano Nasa can happen. That is what Bhagavan is teaching. We will stop it here. 12 questions over, no?
Yes.
So more than 28. So next 3 sessions we will complete. Maybe a few months later, 2-3 months later, we will. So I have spoken too much today, Nanikar. 11:20 actually. Yeah. So, okay, another 20 minutes we can open up for some question and answer.
Swamiji, I have a question. He speaks about residual impression. It is same as vasana, right? So if you take the example of a magnetic compass, you take it very, very rotating.
Which compass?
Magnetic compass. Compass, right? It will always point to the north. Wherever you keep it, slowly it will point. So we cannot, I'm not sure we can do practice of self-inquiry continuously. Sometimes you come out, your mind will orient towards the vasanas. So do you destroy the vasana? Or do you destroy the mind? Which is the one that is preferred?
See, both are one only. Both are only. When the vasanas are destroyed, mind is destroyed. When the mind is destroyed, it means vasanas are destroyed. See, they are not two different things actually. You will see in the next few, this thing about vasana is going to talk. He says, it is only Ashubha and Shubha vasanas. The mind is not Shubha or Ashubha. The vasanas are Ashubha, Shubha. So when the vasanas are destroyed, mind is annihilated. See, Vasana Kshaya and Mano Nasa, they are not two different things. They are one and the same thing. The fuel for the mind is Vasana. When the fuel is removed, the fire is extinguished. So when the Vasanas are removed, mind is gone. Or when mind is destroyed, Vasana can no more operate. The field where the Vasana can operate, the duality is destroyed means Vasana cannot operate. It's not that there is no Vasana. Vasana cannot operate in that field of Advaita or that non-dual thing. The Vasana can operate only in the duality. When there is no duality, where can vasana? Vasana means likes and dislikes. When there are no objects, when there are no person to function, how can the vasana operate? Vasana cannot operate where there is no mind.
So you mean destruction of mind is one time?
It's not like that. It's a hard work. It requires a lot of inquiry and sadhana. But the truth is revealed like this only Bhagavan says. The truth is revealed like that, he says. Yeah. The revelation of truth is not gradual. But the destruction of mind, the destruction of vasana is gradual. That's what Bhagavan says in Ramana Gita also. See, Ramana Gita is a wonderful text given out by Kavya Kanta Ganapati Muni. He and his disciples, they have put a lot of questions to Bhagavan, and Bhagavan has answered. That is called Ramana Gita, 18 chapters. There Bhagavan throws more light on all these things. Hridaya Vidya, about the heart, he talks so much beautifully. See, when you are passionate, you go on studying Bhagavan and this, that. Everything is fascinating. And if you know Tamil, if you can understand Muruganar Swamigal, then you can understand Bhagavan really better. Muruganar Swami Tirundar, appadi or bhaktar, appadi or great jnani. He wrote thousands and thousands of verses, poems on Bhagavan and his path. So if you go on reading it, you get more light on Bhagavan. But to understand Muruganar, even if you are a Tamilian, you cannot understand. You have to be a scholar in Tamil to understand. That is the difficulty in Muruganar. So always I used to have a Tamil dictionary to read Muruganar. Even Tamil dictionary is very inadequate. Nisargadatta Maharaj also is a wonderful thing. I am that. Nisargadatta Maharaj is very close to Bhagavan. Close means almost same only they are talking. But one thing is Nisargadatta Maharaj elaborates so much, but that leads to some confusion sometimes. Always Shabda Jalam Maharanyam Chitta Brahmanakaram. When you try to explain truth more, you defile truth. You cannot. So Bhagavan only just points out and he leaves it for you to experiment and find out. I find it to be a more very sophisticated approach.
Yesterday you...
Like Dakshinamurti also. He just showed Chinmutra and he just remained silent. But it's still sophisticated.
Yesterday I told about, I went through some YouTube, I just shared one link. There I remember Maharaj says, when consciousness realizes itself, it is self-realization. Otherwise, it is always manifested as mind, body, and intellect. That's why you have to take the mind inside and realize itself, it's extent. Sometimes it says like that.
True. Nisargadatta Maharaj, wonderful. Great revelation. No, huge. Om Purnamadha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.